Good afternoon, Eduardo. Thank you so much for welcoming us here at Unergy. We're really happy to have you on SDG Impact Stories. Could you start by briefly introducing yourself, please?
Yeah, thank you, Clarissa. I'm very happy to have you here. I'm Eduardo Ospina. I'm an electrical engineering. I am very passionate about clean energy and technology. And yeah.
And you're a CEO.
Yeah, and I am the CEO and co-founder of Unergy, of course. Yeah.
So how would you describe Unergy in just a few words? What's the mission, the purpose?
Yeah. Unergy, with Unergy, we dream about massification and democratization of clean energy. Here in Colombia and in Latin America in general, we have a huge barrier for clean energy, and it is the financiation, and that is why we created Unergy as a marketplace for financing clean energy projects in Latin America. Yeah.
Amazing. So you just mentioned about the financing, the barrier. So there's a gap. What would you say is the current state of the solar industry in Colombia, economically and socially? What are the issues?
Yeah, I think a lot of people in Colombia wants to be part of sustainability. There's a lot of people, really a lot of people. Yeah. But it is very difficult because, for example, a lot of people also live in apartments. A lot of people also doesn't have the minimum amount to invest in solar panel. And for the other side, we have a lot of companies, big companies that have high consumptions, that have high rooftops, large rooftops. So they doesn't invest in solar energy, for example, in the terms of company, because they find the investment costs are very high. So they decide not to invest. And that is why we created Unergy as a solution that allows that people who doesn't have the rooftop could invest in that projects with a profitability between, 9 and 11%.
Yeah, amazing. We'll get into the solution of Unergy very soon. So according to Forbes magazine, there's another issue. It's that 67% of the energy in Colombia is not...
I think in Colombia and in some countries of Latin America, we use a lot the thermal energy for feed our source. I think that issue of 67% of the inefficiency comes mainly from thermal sources for feeding our power. I think if we start to changing our matrix for a more electrical matrix, for example, with electric cars, or for example with electric stoves, we will start to change that inefficiency to be more efficient, like electric industry. So here in Latin America, we have that issue, and we will have to change that.
Great, thank you so much. So could you tell us more about how Unergy works, and why is this business model so promising and a game changer that would allow to achieve the Agenda 2030 in Colombia or Latin America?
Yeah, in Latin America, as I said before, we have a huge barrier for massifying and democratizing solar energy, and it's the financiation of solar energy projects. But also it is about the culture that people have about how the solar energy works. So we join that part of financiation in organizations, in companies, in commercial malls that needs a huge amount of energy, and they need affordable price of energy. And we finance that projects with the help from people like you that put from $250 in solar energy projects with a profitability. And also, I think it is very important because we are not just focused on big projects like, $20 million or more, solar farms. But we are focused in that little projects in self-consumption, for example, in organizations, and also in mini solar farms, like or something like that help the grid, that help to bring community, that helps that people who start with an amount of $250 investing in one project to understand very well how the solar energy works, and that people who are investing in Unergy nowadays start to recycling, start to I don't know, buying electric mobility, and a lot of things like that.
Really interesting. And really interesting the fact that you can start with a ticket size of investment at $250.
Yeah.
Very affordable, because I think also another barrier is that people see solar panels as something very expensive, but you actually make it affordable by compartmentalizing.
Yeah, it was very important to us to start with little amounts of money for allowing that people, I don't know, and a student could start to invest in energy, for example.
So Unergy's platform also allows to track and monitor the solar production and consumption. So could you explain what does that mean? What does it entail? And why is it important to track the...
I think one of the main issues we have in energy is the information barrier. So we find that people...
It's very technical.
Yeah, it's very technical. But you cannot see electrons. You could see, I don't know. Yeah, it's intangible. You will see a lot of, I don't know, physical things, but you cannot see electrons. Yeah. So that is why we think it is very important that Unergy as a startup could inform to the people how we are generating power, how they are consuming energy, because it allows for them to break the barrier of information all the people have. So with that, also, for example, in a project that, I don't know, that costs $100K, we could have 100 people there. And if we inform them every 10 minutes how they are generating power, they could start to be more interest about solar energy. They could start to look in Google how the solar energy generated, and also they could start
be more active in this project.
And they open our app and they are seeing all the day, okay, the sun is good. Yeah, the sun is shining. I am generating energy. I am generating profitability, and sustainability is profitable. So this is very important to us to demonstrate that the sustainability projects are profitable, not just for, I don't know, people from Europe, or that also for people from here.
Yeah. Really, really cool. So the generating the energy or producing the energy, there's a technical aspect that I would like you to explain, please. That has to do with, for example, a household might produce this amount of energy, but might not consume all of the energy. So what do you do with the excess energy, and how does it link with the government or the state's energy, which is the grid? Right? You call that the grid.
This answer depends of the country we are, because the regulation of every country. But normally, we could use that excess of energy to feed, for example, your neighborhood or something like that. When you generate power, you could use your grid as a, I don't know, as a virtual battery or something like that. But it's more like a financial battery. For example, if you generate more power, your grid have to receive that energy, and the grid will use that excess of energy to feed your neighbor, but they will pay you in financial way for that energy. You could use that payment for feed your night or something like that, because you don't have batteries. So you use that excess of energy to sell that energy and to monetize that energy.
It's amazing. And that's all managed at Unergy, right?
Yeah. Nowadays, we're energy provider. So we start to be an energy provider to allow that, for example, we could use that excess of power of the projects we are to, for example, feed, I don't know, an investor we have in the platform that wants to consume energy from Unergy, and they doesn't have to have solar panels in the roof to consume solar energy, because we are energy providers.
Yeah, because once you can just transfer.
Yeah.
So you have very different players. You have investors, you have consumers.
Yeah, we have producers, investors, consumers, something like that.
Amazing. It's an entire ecosystem.
Yeah, that is our idea, is to facilitate the interactions between everything, between the consumer, between the producer, and between the investor.
Yeah.
An investor could be a consumer also. Yeah.
Of course. So now talking about sourcing the solar panels, where do you source it? Because the materials are raw materials, they are rare, they are finite. Often, well, it comes from the mining industry, so we have some ethical challenges there. And also producing it when the more we standardize, the more, the way an industry might produce solar panels, they might throw the hazardous chemicals into, water streams and intoxicates the water for the entire village or whoever lives around.
Yeah. I think it is very important to track who is sourcing our solar panels and from where everything is coming. I think also it's very difficult to track that because we don't know what every company is doing.
It's lacking transparency.
Yeah, but we used to buy solar panels from companies who have social responsibility reports.
Okay.
We read that reports and we know how they are working for being social for being. Yeah, so they are certified, for example.
Like B certified.
B certified, I am not sure about that because B certified is because I don't know. For example, I know that they have certified, but I am not sure.
Other certificates.
Yeah, another certificate. For example, the companies who supply us solar panels have social responsibility reports, and they are very careful about how they use their resources and how they pay for the employers they have. But I am not sure about the B certificate. We are working to being a B certificate company. But yeah.
Okay, super interesting. So you have like a basis of criteria.
Yeah, of course. And we are very rigorous with that. We use solar panels just for that kind of companies.
And so what about so this is the part of the solar panel, the supply chain. But as we know, solar panels have a finite life cycle. So what about the recyclability? They use, again, these raw elements, and it's very delicate and requires, I think, specialized expertise too.
The solar panels could last about 30 years. For example, the solar panels we are using have warranty about 30 years, but they could last more than 40 years. Okay. But in terms of recycling, the main parts of a solar panel is glass, silicon, and aluminum. Okay. And the three of them are very recyclable. Okay. For example, the glass have 95% of recyclability, because the glass that is used for the solar panels is glass of high purity. Okay. High purity, yeah. We have also silicon that have 85% of recyclability, and also we have aluminum that have 100% of recyclability. Yeah, I think maybe the not the good part of the solar panel is the like the caoutchouc. I don't know how.
Caoutchouc, yeah.
Yeah.
Rubber.
The rubber, but it's just a minimum amount of rubber. Yeah.
Okay. Really interesting. And so once a solar panel reaches its end of life cycle, does Unergy take it as their responsibility to find a company that will recycle it?
Yeah, and I have to say something about that.
Yeah.
I really dream about maybe in 10 years create a company who is in charge of recyclability, because I think it is not just a thing about social responsibility. It is about that it could be a good yeah,
economy.
but also a good business
Yeah.
because all the
I'll be the first to invest.
yeah. We have to create companies to recycle solar panels. I think it won't be
It's lacking still.
yeah, not just a social business. It will be a good business
Yeah.
because
Yeah, especially that we're slowly reaching the state where the first solar panels that came out, I guess, was
we're waiting for
a few decades ago now, and they're at the end of their life cycles.
And I am very sure that a lot of I don't know people in the world will create companies like that for recycling, and that companies will be very profitable because the materials are very interesting.
Yeah, definitely. Amazing. Thank you so much for all this information. So I have a challenging question for you. As we already know, like we said, we have limited resources in terms of creating these solar panels. So it entails that we won't have enough raw materials to actually create all the solar panels required to replace the energy that the world is actually using. So in how many years would you say that Colombia will reach the level of, let's say, enough solar panels or renewable energies to replace the fossil fuels? And what will happen to the company once you reach that level? And what are the next steps?
Yeah, I think that is a very challenging question and a very good question. And I will try to respond that in a very good way. Mm-hmm. First of all, we have our electric energy matrix is very little. Nowadays, nowadays, we have 10 gigawatts of energy consumption, of power consumption in the day. It means that we could maybe last 20 years to feed that amount of energy or to construct that all of that project. So we have some years to do that, but also we have a huge thermal matrix that we have to start to converting to electric matrix of energy. So we have to start to provide more energy to electric vehicles, to stops, to all of that things that today works with thermal energy, and to transform that to electric energy in the first way. So if we have maybe 20 years to feed all the projects we have right now, we will increase our electricity matrix and it will be a lot of bigger than right now. So it will last more years to accomplish that thing. Also, we have that thermal matrix, and we have a huge opportunity nowadays in the world, and is generating green hydrogen. So I think the market will increase a lot when we start to create projects to generate green hydrogen, because we could replace a part of the thermal matrix with green hydrogen, and we need solar panels and we need renewable energy to feed that projects, and we don't have that in that account that we made. So we need a lot of energy in the future, but also we have Brazil.
It's an equation.
Yeah, it's an equation. Yeah, we need a lot of resources, and we have a little consumption of electric energy nowadays. But also we have, for example, Brazil. Just the market of Minas Gerais is 3 times the market of Colombia. That is a huge market. We are entering right now to Brazil because we don't want to maintain our impact just in Colombia. We want to generate an impact worldwide, but in emerging countries like Colombia, Brazil, Panama, for example, we want to help to finance projects, but also, for example, in countries like Europe, countries in all Europe or in USA, we want to have, for example, people who want to invest in sustainability, who want to invest in the project we have here in Latin America, and we want to connect that countries that have a lot of liquidity for helping countries that are in emerging markets growing a lot in their career for avoid a climate disaster. So,
That's amazing.
we have
As an engineer, as a very innovative engineer, I'm sure you're going to be able to adapt the company to, you know, fit it in the different countries and adapt other renewable energies.
Yeah. We dream about starting to finance green hydrogen projects that will change everything in the world, I think.
You have so many opportunities. Yeah, it's impressive. So, can you tell us about Unergy's impact in numbers?
Yeah, of course. At the day, we have helped to finance 1.4 million of dollars in solar energy projects.
US dollars, right?
US dollars, yeah. We have helped to finance 20 projects here in Colombia. We have closed this trimester $3 million more for financing. So we triplicate our metrics this trimester. Also, we are installing right now 3,000 panels. We have installed right now 3,000 solar energy panels. So we will have 6,000 panels maybe in 2 months. At the end of the year, we are planning to install more than 20,000 panels and more than $20 million in financiation, not just in Colombia, but also in Brazil. We're entering Brazil. We expect to finance $5 million this year in Brazil. And about, for example, the impact that each project is generated, every $1 million that we help to finance could fit 1,500 people in Latin America. Okay. So that is a very huge impact, and we have to finance a lot of more solar panels to increase our impact.
Amazing. So many numbers, very impressive. Thank you so much. And so that impact that you've had up until today was just in 2 years' time, right?
Yeah,
since
2 years.
You exist since 2020. And and then in the next year you'll have the more than 20,000.
Yeah, we born just before the pandemic start. So yeah, we're also good time to burn.
Thank you so much. So now to close the interview, could you please describe Unergy in 3 words?
I think democratization, massification, and decentralization.
Wow.
Yeah.
Those are good words. Very, very good choice. Do you have any last comments or advice or thoughts you want to share with us?
No, thank you very much for that conversation. I think it's very important to us to conversate about clean energy, about solar, about helping the people to understand this business, because we, as a business, and the solar energy project generates profitability and yeah.
I definitely think it's essential. We're all consumers of energy, and we have to understand, you know, if we're not engineers, at least the basic of how it works. So thank you so much for sharing this knowledge with us.
Thank you so much.